so excited. Okay, so let's just start with it. The word Akashic. What specifically does it mean?
How about it? How about it? Okay. First things first. No, I know. It's like even the word, right? From the very beginning,
Right.
we recognize there's a lot to learn, right? The
Mm-hmm.
first thing is Akasha is a Sanskrit word. And what it means is primary substance, that from which all things are formed. So what we're talking about is the raw material of life before we get to it with our good ideas, right? And our feelings. This is that raw essence. So that's what the Akasha is.
Okay. The raw essence of life, the raw essence of everything, of all that is.
Of all that is, the raw essence.
The raw essence. Okay.
Primary substance, primary. So it's the first, right? It's the, yeah, that's what it is.
Okay. The first, the substance from which all things derive.
Right.
Okay. Okay. So how did you come to learn like everything you know about the Akashic atmosphere and the Akashic realm? How'd you come to this?
How about it? How about, you don't plan for these things. Certainly not in the Midwest here, right? Right.
Right.
So here's the thing that's really interesting. My upbringing was very traditional Midwest American. Yeah. And I really had the idea that if I managed well, I'd be happy. So I'm like, oh, I get that, right? So I set about a life of good management, and I really focused on it. And, I like goals and achievement. So I did pretty well, right? And I woke up at the age of 24. I had a fabulous job that I didn't really like, but it was a good job, right? Okay, so I had this great job. I had a wonderful apartment. I had beautiful clothes. I had great friends. There were so many things in my life that were just wonderful. The only problem was I felt completely empty inside. And I thought, wait a second here. See, I thought the name of the game was to organize everything on the outside and my insides would then be, fulfilled. Well, I had it all wrong. So I prayed a desperate prayer. Like the God, if you're even there, if you even exist, you're on, buddy. Anyway, so I make this prayer, and within a couple of weeks, I have this moment. Really, what turns out, of course, I didn't know it at the time, was a moment of life-changing spiritual awareness. And in this moment, I was like awash with this sense of being completely known, really loved and enjoyed and appreciated. And I got it that I was a part of the entire creation. Now, I'll tell you, Bridgitte, I don't think it lasted long. I mean, how long is long? I don't even know. I was like, whoa, right? Because nothing prepared me for that moment. I come from the school of if you want to be happy, you want something good, you work for it, you earn it, right? This was just out of nowhere. It was a response to a desperate prayer. Anyway, so here's what, after that, like it subsided, and I didn't know what it was. And I thought, I knew I didn't know. I was like, whatever this is, I really want this in my life on an ongoing basis. I need to know how to get back there. I wanted to be able to like regenerate that or duplicate it for myself. So it was game on, because that's the kind of person I am, right? So I was like, let's go. And so let's go, I did. And I did everything until, listen, this is a trip. I was 40. So I start out, I'm 24, nice age.
Okay.
I wake up, I'm 40. I'm like, and somebody says, let's go to this Akashic record thing. I thought, whatever that is, right? But at this point, I had been to, you name it, I've tried it. I mean, I had so much fun and everything was really great, but none of it enabled me to recreate or duplicate that experience. So I go to this class on Akashic Records. I don't even know what this is, really. I go in, I follow the instructions, and guess what? I open up the records and there it is. The experience blew me away. I had this moment where I felt completely known, loved, and really like an important part, not the center of the universe, but like my cell in the cosmos really needed to be there. I was like, okay, whatever this is. So that was in 1994. And I have been working in the records ever since.
Ever since. Okay, so let me make sure I understand. Okay, so you were in your job around 24 years old. You were well-to-do materially, but spiritually and emotionally, you were feeling bereft, empty, like something significant was missing, which is so common. You know, I've heard that so many times, like people were on the material path, not to say that there's anything wrong with having a nice home and car and means to travel, but it is clearly void of something. There is something more significant that we're meant to experience. So around that time, then you had this feeling of euphoria or of love, of connectedness. And so you spent a period of time trying to get back to that feeling by kind of dabbling in various classes, teachings, readings, and then you came to the records.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I didn't know.
Well, it took you a little while.
Oh, it took me a while, right? I say, why rush a good process? Because, you know, I really, but I had a good time. Do you know, I mean, you understand this. I went to all these classes. I studied all kinds of things. It was fabulous. But
Yes.
inevitably, I would get to the point where I would be like, this is not it anymore. It was kind of like the air was out of the balloon or something. And I was certainly grateful for what I had learned, but I felt like whatever I had been doing dried up. And I'll tell you something, I expected that with the records. Now, what was a trip, right? I thought, this is really great. I'll do this for a couple months. I mean, I didn't know truly. So this is hilarious. So I'm going along, I open my records and I'm like, what is this? Because the woman who was teaching, very nice woman, very esoteric. I really didn't understand a word she was saying. She was very obtuse and abstract and certainly a very nice woman, but I didn't connect with her personally. I didn't know what the heck she was talking about. So I took my questions into the record. So I'm like, what is this? So here's what I get. This is so funny. What comes to me, and I have a sense of knowing, right? 85% of the people who work in the records have sense of knowing, right? Only 10% are visual, 10%. And 5% hear things. And I'm like, anyway, but I have sense of knowing. So I just forgot what I was saying. Anyway, this is so funny. So here's what goes down. I'm in the records. I'm like, what is this? Right? Because I don't understand. And I get at a very deep level, this is an infinite spiritual resource for growth and transformation. I have to, in my arrogance, I was like, oh, yeah, I get that. I want you to know, I sit here, I mean, how many years later, right? I mean, I was 40, today I'm 67. This has been a road trip, right? Every time I think I'm coming to the end of this, that's all there is. How could there be more? It's as if the entire universe tilts and a new vista opens and there's more to go. There's more to learn. There's more to grow. So anyway, so it's an infinite spiritual resource and it has not dried up yet. And kind of like the vow I made to myself was that I'll do this until there's nothing left. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, that seems even consistent with just spiritual expansion in general. You know, if when you're new to that, you might think, oh, I'll meditate for a little bit and things will get better and all my problems will go away. I mean, I definitely thought that when I first came to meditation and started reading books, and you quickly start to find out that it is not just like this quick, that there's layer upon layer upon
Right.
layer, and
Right.
that you can learn something, whether it be the Akashic Records or something else. And it just always feels to me like, you know, because we are connected to all that is, that we know everything, but yet we know nothing, because there's so much that you can learn. Like the expansion can be infinite.
It is infinite expansion. It's
Yeah,
infinite
so
expansion.
that's